Welcome to Tansson TV Plus. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Mom.
Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Yep, thank you for joining us again.
We always love doing this. And Mom, how's your day going thus far? How's the week?
Brandon, my week has been doing fine. How about you?
All is well here.
That sounds great. Are you ready to talk about another episode of S.H.I.E.L.D?
I am. Are you?
I am, Brandon, because this week we're talking about episode 7 called The Hub. Are you ready for me to give just a general overview?
I am. This episode came out November 12th of 2013.
Oh, wow. Alrighty. So in this particular episode, Victoria Hand is introduced, and she actually works with the hub section of S.H.I.E.L.D. And she wants two agents to disable a weapon on site. And so Fitz and Ward are the two agents who will do this. And apparently, this is some sort of overkill device, and it triggers weapons from a great distance. And so the mission is, like I mentioned, is really just to disable these weapons on site. And there was supposed to be some sort of extraction team that would come and help them at the end of this particular mission. Um, and so we kind of follow Fitz and Ward as they go on this mission, and we kind of see their relationship develop a little bit. And then we also see what happens once they actually have to depend on each other because the extraction team does not come. So that's in essence the main part of this episode. As a little side part of this episode, we do find out a little bit more about Sky's family. All right. Did I leave anything out, Brandon?
For the most part, I think that's it. Mom, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, Brandon.
And overall, what did you think about the seventh episode?
I thought the episode was fine. A little humorous. I will admit it took me a couple times watching it, but yeah, I thought the episode was fine.
Well, that's good. And so overall, like, what really stood out to you? I know that you predicted last week that this would potentially be a Fitz episode.
Yeah, because since last week was a Simmons episode, I said, well, this is the only one who has not been developed yet, or at least gone a little further in his character development. And so I was correct in that this was a Fitz episode, and I thought it was interesting that they put him up against Ward, in the sense as a comparison to show that Fitz has what it takes in order to work at Shield. Because, as I mentioned last week, Fitz and Simmons, they just seem to be one person. So I thought it was interesting that they separated both of them just so that you could see how they were as characters individually rather than together.
And now that we've seen both of these episodes, like, how do you see Fitz and Simmons separately, as opposed to just, being grouped together as, like, one person, essentially?
Well, I thought it was nice that we were able to see them separately, and especially since they really took him out of his element and put him up against Ward, who Ward seems like the typical Shield agent. Um, we learned like a few things from them. We learned that Fitz does not like to be tortured. We learned that Fitz is actually forward thinking. Even though he acts like he doesn't have a plan, he really does have a plan. And that he wants to prove that he is a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent and that he's very capable. And so those are just some of the small things we learned about him. We also, oddly enough, learned about his favorite sandwich. And I guess that's just a way of just saying that Simmons knows him really well. Um, we also learned in this particular episode that most of the agents I think that work there are level sevens. Apparently, they're levels of agents, but Coulson, May, and Ward are at least eights, and so they get a little bit more. They're able to do a little bit more in the field rather than the rest of the group.
Yeah, that's a pretty good observation. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think while Coulson is 8, I do think Ward's actually 7, but just is able to do 8 stuff only because the only reason as to why I say that is because Coulson's first line in the series was telling Ward, "Welcome to level 7."
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you picked that up, Brandon. That's good. And then there was another storyline that kind of went along with this also, and that is has to deal with Sky. Even though the majority of this episode is about Fitz, it's interesting that Sky fits into this pretty well. Um, Coulson tells Sky that she was dropped off by a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent when she was a baby. While on this particular mission, while on the mission, Sky herself tries to help. And when she goes and she uses her computer skills, of course, and as she's looking things up to try to help in this endeavor, she sees that she has access to the redacted files. She doesn't have time to read them. She's able to see that they're there, and she knows that one of them is hers. And so Coulson tells her that she was dropped off by a by a woman who they believe is a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. And then we find out later that Coulson later tries to find out more information about himself, but he is denied himself to learn a little bit more. But we do know in regards to Sky that Coulson knows quite a bit because he did read the file. And then one of the other characters on here also read, May. She also read the file too, so they both know about her parents, or at least one person, but they're not ready to tell Sky everything that's going on.
Yeah, and based off of that file that Coulson was showing Agent May, it didn't look like the woman that dropped Sky off had a successful career. And from based off the picture.
Yeah, she was on the ground, so yeah, seriously hurt. So it didn't look like she had a successful career, correct? But we really don't know who this person is. We assume it's her mother. We also learned that, and we talked about it, the hub, but the hub is actually an organization watching, means that there's an organization watching the back. And so I think that's important for the S.H.I.E.L.D. Characters to understand a little bit more about this particular episode. It's important to know the meaning of the hub.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, we saw that Victoria Hand is sort of a leader of the hub. And so, overall, what were your thoughts about her as a character?
Well, I figured she was up to something. And I couldn't tell in this episode whether or not she was or was not up to something, but you kind of could tell that she's up to something. And I have a feeling we'll see her later. Um, I guess I could look to Brandon to see if it looks like we might see her later, but he's not going to let me know. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens indeed. And yeah, I know throughout the episode, in each of the various times that we watched it, that you were trying to figure out, like, was she on our side or was she not?
Yeah, that part was not clear. We do know that she did not want the extraction force there, extraction team there, but we don't know the reason why. And so that'll be interesting to find out.
Yeah, and I will say that, I mean, to me in this episode, Victoria Hand very much sort of, I don't know, to me, I think she really stands out, and she has a very known presence about her.
Yeah, she did. She did have a known presence with her.
Yeah, and I will say that, yeah, throughout these 7 episodes thus far, that are there any elements that you think might may or may not sort of carry over to these next episodes?
Well, of course, I believe the Sky Scare storyline is going to carry over in regards to her parents and who her parents really are. Whether or not they show one or both of them will be interesting to see. But we do know that this is a storyline that will carry over. I mean, Fitz and Simmons, they working together. I think that they can continue letting them work together. And now that we have seen what they can do, we'll be able to see them individualize a little bit more. But at the same time, we'll know that their work will always stem together.
Well, that makes sense. And just to let you know, like timeline wise, I know about 2 weeks ago we said that the show took a week break, and so at this point in time, shortly before this episode, the movie For the Dark World had released. So this episode is November 12th. The movie released on November 8th.
All right. Good to know, Brandon. Good to know. Is there anything else about this episode that I need to know?
So yeah, this episode did have one of the characters from the movies in it.
Oh, who's that, Brand?
That was Agent Jasper Sitwell.
Yeah, that's the one that Simmons, I think, got to. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah. Uh, yes, nice to know he's still living at the inn.
yes, and so I don't know if you caught it a few episodes ago, but Fitz had made what they call the night night gun, which basically just puts everyone to sleep.
Yeah. I did not catch that's what it was, but I figured that they wouldn't do anything that drastic this early.
But were you shocked by it?
Yeah, I was shocked by it. It took me aback a little bit. I was shocked by it. And those of you who watched it will know what I mean.
Yeah, Simmons doesn't seem that good of a liar.
No, she's not. She's not.
But overall, what were your thoughts? Because I think one thing that this episode did really well was sort of show the difference between Shield and the way that we've seen it over the first 6 episodes, and I guess the bigger Shield.
Yeah, we can see that not everyone's together necessarily in the bigger shield, and the fact that they will turn on each other. And I think that's important to know that that could happen at any time.
Yeah, especially since as they tell Coulson started to tell his team was just trust the process.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, but the episode previous to this, we had seen a character from a Marvel short film. That character being Felix Blake, and so throughout the series, we do get some smaller characters from the movies and other Marvel projects that come in and out, and so it's nice to be able to see them, even if it's not for the whole series.
Yep, true, true, true. And I know I'm looking forward to watching the next episode, Brandon.
Yeah, do you have any thoughts about what episode 8 may entail?
No, I don't. I have not looked ahead, Brand. So let us know. Are you able to give us a hint, or do we need to watch to see?
Well, I'll just say the name of the episode. But before I do you have any predictions as to if this next episode will focus on anyone in particular, or any thoughts or anything?
Well, we've gone around for everyone at this point, so I'm thinking that we might be back to Sky and May. So we'll see if that happens.
Yeah, we will see indeed in the next episode. Episode 8 is titled "The Well."
Ah, we'll have to see what the well is. As we thank everybody for watching today.
Yes, we definitely do.
All right, and we'll see you next time.
Have a great day.
Bye bye.